Hello History Hunters and welcome to another exciting episode. My name's Neve.
And my name is Seamus. Today we have a brand new remarkable person for you. Any guesses who that could be?
This week's guest is all the way from America.
He's always been a high flyer.
And for the final clue, he was the first man on the moon.
That's right, you've got it. It's Neil Armstrong.
We've decided to travel back in time to meet the man himself. So join us on our journey through time and space.
This is History Hunters.
Before we head off on our adventure, let's take a look at your drawings from last week's episode of your favourite Walt Disney characters.
This one of Simba by Sam, aged 11.
And here's a great one by Casper, aged 14.
We love seeing the amazing artwork you send us each week, so keep sending them in at historyhunters.co.uk/submissions.
Where are we actually going today then, Seamus?
Well, we're going back nearly half a century ago, to the year 1969.
Why 1969?
It was the year of the Apollo 11 mission, of course.
You don't mean.
I do. We're going to the moon!
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited! Don't ruin it with your space fun, Seamus.
Well, I did have a really good one in mind, but I didn't have time to plan it.
Oh, that was terrible.
Come at me, bro.
Stellar, just stellar. Anyway, 1969 was a huge year in space travel, as it was the year that Neil Armstrong took man's first steps on the moon.
I wonder what it was like back then.
Well, Seamus, the 1960s were nothing like today. Russia and America wanted to have the strongest weapons and were also competing to see who could get to space and the moon first.
Oh, maybe we should talk to somebody who could tell us a bit more.
I'm one step ahead of you, Seamus. I've reset the coordinates to the National Space Centre, modern day. Here we are.
Wow, I've never been to such a cool place.
Don't touch anything. We're here to speak to Tamala, an expert on space and Mr. Armstrong.
Let's go.
So what began the space race and why were America and Russia fighting?
Yeah, so beginning the space race, you really have to think back to the end of World War II. Emerging powers, you have the US on one side and the Soviet Union on the other. And both were really keen to prove their dominance through technology, so through rocket power, through going into space. And the whole space race began when Russia launched the very first satellite, which was Sputnik 1 in 1957. The US desperately tried to catch up for a few years after this, but they just couldn't get those first that the Soviet Union was ticking off until tide turns in the mid-1960s and they start pushing on to the moon.
Were there any problems with the Apollo 11 mission?
It wasn't quite perfect. There was some program alerts, some alarms that started flashing. The computer was saying, I'm overloaded, I have too much information to take in. They were looking at really rough terrain to land on and they didn't quite have a smooth landing like they'd hoped for. And Neil Armstrong was the commander. It was his job to keep us cool. And that was part of the reason why he was selected, actually, is he was so cool under pressure and he really proved that in his training as well. So there were scares. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief and the rest of the mission was, of course, down in history.
And how many people did watch the moon landing on television?
Definitely a worldwide event, so it's estimated about 600 million people at the time, which is enormous. So there's a lot of people going over to a friend or a neighbour that had a TV and they gather around and watch it then. But yeah, absolutely global.
Thank you so much for your help. Now, let's go meet the man himself, but first we need to spacesuit up.
Picking up some dust. Straight shadow. 4 forward, drift into the right a little. 30 seconds forward, drift. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. We copy it down, Eagle.
I can't believe we're actually here.
Look at the Earth. We're so far away.
Did you know, I had a space pun in mind, but I didn't have time to plan it?
Yeah, you've said that one. So we're on the moon and all you can think about is puns. We're here to find Neil.
Well, the coordinates say he's landing right here.
Watch out!
See, I told you so.
You know, I've had enough of your know-it-all.
Oh, you
attitude,
always
right?
have a
So
go
if
at
it were
me.
right, if I
I'm
hadn't
the
said
comic
watch out
relief.
then, it would
You
have
should
completely
really stop.
landed.
It's so much emotional
Right,
stress
it
to
would
me,
have
and I'm
completely
just trying to be
switched.
funny.
Excuse me,
Right,
do
if
you
I hadn't
mind?
This hurts. Oh, stop it.
Do you mind? I'm trying to moonwalk here.
Is that?
Neil Armstrong? Why, yes it is.
Well, actually, we've come to see you.
We're from the future.
Did you learn nothing from Back to the Future?
The future. I don't believe you.
Watch this.
Gravity activated.
We've come back in time to find out more about you.
Me? Well, I'm honored. I mean, I do apologize for nearly crashing the lunar lander on you, but I am quite preoccupied trying to think of what I should say before we broadcast back home. I don't want to let my adoring fans down, after all.
Well, perhaps we could help you with that. But in the meantime, we'd really love to ask you some questions.
Yeah, tell us about yourself.
All right, well, since you asked, I was born in Ohio, United States on 5th of August, 1930. As a child, I always loved planes, and I first flew at the age of 6, and ever since then, wanted to fly. I got my pilot license at the age of 16, and before I knew it, I was a test pilot. After that, I went on to become a fighter pilot, and I even fought in the Korean War. I actually got shot down. After that, I went on to become an engineer, and now, here I am, as an astronaut.
Wow, you've done some amazing things.
Why, thank you. It is what I love to do.
That's far out. Talking of distance, do you know how far away we are from planet Earth?
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Well, right now, we're about 225,000 miles away. But us astronauts calculate extreme distances in a measurement called light years.
Like Buzz Lightyear.
Who's that?
It's a long Toy Story. But it doesn't matter, Neil.
Oh, wow. A light year is how long it takes light to travel through a vacuum of space in a year. It's very interesting, but essentially, light could travel the distance from Earth to the Moon in 1.29 seconds at a speed of 299,792 kilometers per second.
That's crazy. Did you travel that long distance by yourself?
Oh no, I'm not alone. I have my co-pilot Buzz Aldrin back there and Michael Collins up there to help me.
As you're so good with planes and rockets, we wondered if you could help us to make a rocket of our own.
Oh, why, of course. You've asked the right man, after all. Come with me.
So, what'll we need to begin?
Alrighty then. You'll need the equipment appearing on screen right now. Alright, so, paint your bottle in any color you like. We chose white. But be aware, make sure it's dry before you move on to step 4. Now first, you gotta cut out your 3 wings from the cardboard. Super easy.
Just cut the end.
Now
Like
we've chosen
so.
to use black card, but you can decorate them any way you like. Now, in order to fasten the wings to the rocket, stick them on securely using the sellotape. Be sure to fold over a corner to make it easier for yourself. Now, next, cut out your windows from the black cardboard. Just a cool little sucker.
I hope our little astronaut will be able to see through these dark windows.
He sure will. And all you have to do is stick them on using the glue.
Like this.
Now, as you can see, we've added a few strips of color onto our rocket. But if you're feeling creative at home, feel free to use any color you like.
You can also use other materials, such as glitter, to give it that extra little bit of flair.
Absolutely. Now, here's what you're aiming for.
And if you want to send us your own pictures of your own bottle rockets, be sure to send them to historyhunters.co.uk/Neil Armstrong.
Send us photos of your rockets to historyhunters.co.uk/submissions for the chance to be seen on next week's show.
Well, it has been nice chit-chatting with you, but I am broadcasting to over 600 million people in 5 minutes, and I still haven't thought of an opening line. Say, have you guys got any ideas?
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. That's one small step for man, one big jump for women. Oh my gosh, I'm on the moon!
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Hey, that's not bad. That is pretty good. I think I'm gonna use that. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Wow, Thanks, guys. You have been great. I'll see you around.
Bye.
Wow, what a guy.
You're right there. Oh, can we take another quick stop at the Space Centre? I have a few more questions for Tamala.
Of course, let's go. Do you have any advice for any aspiring astronauts out there?
So the advice that's been given to me by other astronauts has been being an astronaut is a second career, really. It's never your first job to be an astronaut. You always are a pilot first, or a scientist first, or an engineer first, teacher first maybe. So really the advice is to do what you love, be good at what you love, do a career first, be excellent at it. Hopefully it's in the sciences or engineering, because that's really what most of the space agencies look for. Be physically fit, and when the time comes, maybe mid-30s, mid-40s, you could apply to be an astronaut. Bye, history hunters!
That was so interesting. I think I might need a change of career plan.
It'd be difficult to match the 15 years of aero and astronautical experience Neil acquired to be able to go on the moon, Seamus.
Now that's all from us. Remember to send us your photos of your own bottle rockets to historyhunters.co.uk/submissions. Oh, I did it this time. And to hope we see you next week. For our Christmas episode, we'll be meeting famous author Charles Dickens. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.